starting to occur to me that we are ignoring some of the other teams in the Pac-12, which could be at USC and UCLA's expense. Last offseason, Sean McVay actually drunk called the Rams front office like he was pursuing a slutty ex in the middle of the night. And Julio Urías has become the Dodgers' ace. Who'd have thunk that? Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and start for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is faithful Angelenos. I'm in a terrific mood. Every morning I wake up, I check, and more people have gotten on this little bandwagon that we're piloting here. I'm thankful for every last subscriber. It is August 11th, 2022. We're going to get to the LA sports news. If you like the content, don't forget to clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we have new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. This is not where I live. This is a dank hotel room in Omaha, Nebraska. I need friends. So, before we get to the news and notes around LA, let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Joey Gallo hit a 3-run home run last night. Dodgers 8, Minnesota 5. The Dodgers maintained a 16-game lead in the NL West. They are on a 10-game winning streak. Meanwhile, if you are so inclined to watch something fail, the Sparks are playing tonight. They host Connecticut at 7:30. They are on the brink of elimination. So if Schadenfreude is your jam, if you want to see a bunch of people have their dreams shattered in front of your eyes, the WNBA is for you. I tapped the brakes in my own head thinking about college football because we have been assuming that the Trojans have a great shot at the college football playoffs. And they probably do, don't get me wrong. But I was looking at the polls going into the year. USC, there's a coaches poll out. USC is 15th. The Bruins, by the way, they're not ranked, but let's be real, it's a preseason poll. And when the Bruins, they wind up with 9-10 wins, trust me, they're going to be in a poll. So let's not worry about that just yet. But the point is, there are two teams in the Pac-12 ranked higher than SC. And so, are we overlooking Utah, for example? They run a lot. They are the counter of what everything USC is trying to do. You know, the air raid offense mixed in with a little bit of power running and rebuilding the defense with all these new transfers. The Utes already run the ball effectively. That's their thing. They return a 1,000-yard rusher in Torian Thomas. And the Utes in the last 3 seasons have rushed for 80 touchdowns. So they know what the hell they're doing. And oh, by the way, so does Oregon. Oregon also runs. Oregon plays physical defense. Counter to what USC might be doing this year. Now again, the Trojans aren't playing the Ducks in the regular season, but it could happen theoretically in a Pac-12 title game. And then you look to the Trojans, their base defense actually plays into Utah's hands. You should stack the box usually to stop the run. The Trojans, however, run a 3-3-5. That's not stacking the box. They'd have to reinvent their defense on the fly. And what about USC's defense from last year, right? Look, same structure, different players, I acknowledge. But if the USC defense improves by allowing 1 fewer touchdown per game, 1 fewer touchdown, which seems like a lot, that's still allowing 25 points a game. That is a ton to ask any offense to overcome. So, I'm not saying USC is going to stink. I'm not saying give up hope. I'm saying keep your eyes open. Utah can play football. We have more info on student body right. Now, what student body right is, a bunch of boosters, they've gotten together for USC to create an NIL collective specifically designed for the football team. They're boosters, they hated Clay Helton, they love Lincoln Riley, now they're back, and the school's nervous. We talked about it in yesterday's clip if you want to go into detail about it. So we have more information about what they're trying to accomplish. They claim that they are modeling what they're doing after a Texas NIL collective, which pays, for example, offensive linemen about $50,000 a year, so long as the players also support charitable causes. Now, what is this baseline that they want to pay USC's players? We don't know. The second thing we learned is that there is a concern, though. Here's the primary concern: whether the collective actually starts to recruit players. In other words, if you come to USC, we can be your collective, we'll give you X. That's a no-no. Now, these guys are claiming that they're not going to be doing anything unethical. They recognize it's a no-no. They say, hey, the school does the recruiting, we'll just come in after the fact. But I would say this: the more I read about NIL collectives, it creates an interesting question. Create a college in your mind. Name it whatever. Name it McDonald's U. Name it Viagra Tech. I don't care. But say you're coming out of high school, okay? Does McDonald's U or Viagra Tech, do you go there if you're like a 2-star prospect, not a 4 or a 5? And then all of a sudden, you go there and you become something much more significant, and then all of a sudden your bigger schools come in and say, hey, we're not really recruiting you, here's the money. Now, I don't even know if that is unethical. In professional sports, it's called free agency, And then furthermore, you could say UCLA is already positioning themselves to do that. We talked about that in yesterday's clip. UCLA isn't even really recruiting high school athletes anymore. They're using the transfer portal. So my question is that also the future for USC? I'm just asking. Not accusing anybody of doing anything unethical, because I don't know what's technically unethical about this yet. But the question is does this change USC's recruiting habits? Because UCLA has already done that. I want to give every male out there who watches this tape a warning. Never, ever make any phone calls when you have too much to drink. Because no matter what your subject is, no matter what the subject is, you are going to sound like the guy drunk texting an ex trying to get some booty at 2 a.m. Seriously, I read the text. Sean McVay confessed that he had a little bit too much tequila. He was on a weekend bender in Mexico. He runs into Matthew Stafford. He realizes Matthew Stafford wants to go, but he's so hammered and he's like drinking shots of tequila. He's listening to 1980s power ballads. And so what does he do? He calls the Rams front office. And I'm going to read to you the text, and you tell me that this doesn't sound like a guy who's trying to get laid. Here's the effing deal. We can sit here and exist and be okay winning 9 to 10 games and losing in the effing divisional round and feel like, oh, everything's okay. Or we could let our mother effing nuts hang out and go trade for this effing quarterback and give ourselves a chance to win an effing world championship. Are you ready to effing do this or what? Now, I like Sean McVay. I've been a Rams fan since before Eric Dickerson. I'm just saying this dude to dude. You didn't sound like you were trying to recruit a football player in that text. You sounded lonely and horny. You have got to maintain, bro. You've got to maintain. I'm saying this as a friend. Sobriety in all of our phone calls, guys. By the way, recall that Aaron Donald made a threat to retire at the end of last season? He's now talking about 3 seasons. 3 seasons more, if you're wondering. The Rams are also confident Jalen Ramsey will be ready for week 1. Meanwhile, over with the Chargers, not a whole hell of a lot of news. Brandon Staley did come back Derwin James, a safety who wants a renegotiated contract. He didn't participate in practice. It was their hardest practice of the week. They're going to kind of chill for a couple of days. They open the exhibition season against the Rams on Saturday. Julio Urías has quietly become the ace of the Dodgers. Now, sure, it took injuries to Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw to get there, but he's 12-6 with a 2.49 ERA, and he's 9-0 in his last 10 starts. And I bring this up because, you know, the LA Times, they just buried the poor guy at the start of the year. Do you think they remember it? Of course they don't want to pretend like they remember it. No. And as for Dave Roberts, he's saying that, quote, it was inevitable, unquote, that Urías would be an ace. So there's that. The Athletic put out a list of the top 30 free agents for the offseason. The Dodgers have 3 on that list. Number 5 is Trey Turner. You should be concerned about that. He's going to be very popular amongst a lot of teams. There is Clayton Kershaw at number 11. I don't think you should be concerned. I believe he's going to finish his career in LA. But there's one that's interesting to me. Craig Kimbrell at 26. See, it's interesting to me because he has blown a few saves. He's not particularly beloved in LA. And Kenley Jansen is a free agent, and he's number 24. So the question is, the Dodgers lost Kenley Jansen as part of this whole brouhaha with Trevor Bauer and salary caps and whatnot. If that's not the case anymore, would you be comfortable dropping Kimbrell and going after Jansen? Just a question. Speaking of Trevor Bauer, his sexual assault accuser has filed a countersuit against him. Bauer is suing her for defamation. I ain't saying nothing else because I've made a bunch of clips on it. You can find it on the Dodgers playlist on my channel. And I have this very clear, I don't want to get sued policy. So I ain't saying another word. We talked about USC and UCLA football. Let's talk basketball for a half second. Sports Illustrated is reporting that Devin Williams, he is a 4-star recruit as a power forward from Compton Centennial. He's 6'10", 200 pounds, the number 16 player in California, the number 86th in the nation. He has narrowed his list for the class of 2023. He's narrowed his list to 2. UCLA and USC. I'm loving it. I love the fact that the Trojans and Bruins are at each other's throats in more than just football. Finally, ESPN has graded all MLS teams, and I'm going to be frank, the grades are fair, particularly for the ones in LA. LAFC, they're in the running for the Supporter Shield. They get an A. Can't complain about it. You can't. They even said, though, that LAFC is defensively sound. Now, I'm not going to go that far. Not after that volleyball mess from Giorgio Chiellini last week. Let's be real, okay? I'd love to make some sort of a pop culture comparison to make fun of Chiellini, but I don't know any famous balding Italian volleyball players. But that was just a bad look. But I will tell you what is a deservedly bad look, unfortunately. The Galaxy get a D. It is deserved. And if you're a Galaxy supporter, you probably agree, just like I do. I mean, they even went so far. ESPN went so far as to say that the franchise needs a top-down restructuring. They did everything except say #Klein out. But can we really say they're wrong? Of course not. We're tweeting Klein out. Well, if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are trying to build something here for LA Sports. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll see you tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.